Because why I gotta be a slut? Why you calling me a slut? Because I know what I want when I want it. Hey nerds, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another episode of Reading Rouge, the series on my channel where I simultaneously do my makeup and do a book review. But before we get into that, I just want to thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into this. On this episode of Reading Rouge, we're going to be talking about The Daydreams. By whom? By Laura Hankin. Laura Hankin, excuse me. I didn't mean to butcher that. For those of you who are new here, I usually have the book on hand and I hold it up to the camera, but I'm not at home. This is not my studio. I'm somewhere else right now. But yes, The Daydreams. Y'all, this book, it was good. It was good up until like the last third of the book, and I'll get into that in a second. Now, usually when I have the book and I do these, I read the book jacket and read the little overview on that. But I'll settle for a Goodreads overview since I don't have the book with me on hand. A deliciously entertaining novel about the stars of a popular teen show from the early 2000s and the reunion special 13 years after their scandalous flameout. That will either be their last chance at redemption or destroy them all for good. Back in 2004, The Daydreams had it all. A cast of innocent-seeming teenagers acting and singing their hearts out, amazing ratings, and a will they or won't they romance that steamed up the fan fiction forums. Every time I talk about something, it's related to fan fiction. Then during the live season 2 finale, it all imploded, leaving everyone scrambling to understand why. Afterward, the four stars went down very different paths. Kat is now a lawyer in Washington, D.C. Liana is the bored wife of a famous athlete. Noah, the show's golden boy, emerged unscathed and is poised to become a household name. And Summer, the object of Noah's fictional and maybe real-life affection, is the cautionary tale. But now the fans are demanding a reunion special. The stars all have private reasons to come back. Forgiveness, revenge, a second chance with a first love, as they tentatively rediscover the magic of the original show. Old secrets threaten to resurface, including the real reason behind their downfall. Will this reunion be a chance to make things right, or will it be the biggest mess the world has ever seen? No matter what, the ratings will be wild. If that ain't some Hollywood shit right there. So there's a rundown of the story, and I know I say this every time I talk about a book on the on the channel, but this one gets into some stuff, okay? I'm gonna clean my face off real fast because there's so much oil on it from the day, and y'all, Alright, so I'm gonna go by chapter, okay? Insert trigger warning here. Alright. Let's begin with chapter 1. Now, this book is going to bounce back from 2004, 5-ish to present day, which is 2018. So chapter 1 is starting in 2018. And the story begins being narrated by a woman named Catherine. And she's giving us the backstory of a teen drama sitcom that she starred on back in the day called The Daydreams, like we just read in the overview. It had all the archetypes you can think of. The major ship, the funny best friend, and the mean girl, which was played by our narrator. We also learned that she has a history with one of them, Noah, because she had a big fat crush on him when they were younger. So the show ended on bad terms, and from how Catherine tells it, all of the relationships within the cast did as well. She's a serious lawyer at a firm now, and she tells us that every so often bits of her past will come up in her work. And like the overview said, all the actors have moved on. Liana is married to a Texas Ranger, so she's a baseball wife. Noah is still in Hollywood, career unscathed, unlike everybody else. And all we know of Summer, the last person in the cast, is that she's the cautionary tale. And this is Hollywood, so that could literally mean anything. So Catherine's at work and her boyfriend sends her this video, right? And it's a video of her ex-co-star, Noah, and she already has a gut feeling that it's gonna be bad and her past is gonna resurface fully. Chapter 2, it's still present day, and in this video that Kat is watching, Noah is being interviewed about a new movie that he's coming out with, and then the interviewer asks the forbidden question. She asks him, how was the show really supposed to end? Now, this is controversial, right? And it's been like 13 years and no one has opened their mouth about it. And here go this nosy ass interviewer talking about spill the tea. And like I said before, something really bad happened during the live season finale, and it's like the incident of which they don't speak because it was that bad. And come to find out, it was a lot of stuff going on that night. Noah does pretty well, you know, avoiding the question overall, but then the interviewer just keeps going, and then she asks Noah would he come back for a reunion, and then Noah says the worst thing that Catherine can imagine. He says yes. All right, chapter 3. It's picking up. Like, mind y'all, we're like only 9 pages in right now. 9-10 pages in, and it's already kicking up dust. Right, so the entire internet is going crazy, and they started a petition to make the reunion a real thing. They want to see it on the screens. They want to make it happen, okay? And along with all this buzz, people are starting to repost moments from the finale all those years ago. Ew, that went over a pimple. So from how Kat is telling it to us, Summer may or may not have flashed her titties on national television. And then all the comments are talking about the production company that the show came from called Atlas. And they were talking about how it was this big machine that was exploiting all of its child stars. Does it sound familiar? Any real world equivalents coming up in your brain? Sound familiar, anybody? And Kat starts to tell us about her initial plans for her career after the show, how she wanted to do nonprofit work, but ultimately it was really hard for her to find a job in the industry. But instead she got a job working for the mean type of lawyers, and she became a shark. And her mentor is encouraging her, you know, when she makes partner, which from the sounds of it sounds like it's going to happen very soon. She's saying, you know, when you make partner, then just start bringing in pro bono clients, and then just transition from what you're doing now to what you wanted to do, pro bono. And at this point, Kat's phone is blowing up with texts, calls, emails, freaking, I don't know, Facebook Messenger. Her former manager is badgering her to, like, you know, sign on to the reunion. And this is where we find out that Liana and Noah already agreed to it, so they're just waiting on Kat and Summer to say yes as well. And Kat's like, you know what? I'll think about it. All right, moving on to chapter 4. Kat comes home to her boyfriend Mahir, who is waiting for her with a glass of wine when she gets home. What a man, as he should. And I'm reading my notes from like when I read this. I read this at the middle of April, by the way. So this has been a while since I read this book. And I'm reading my notes, and it says, I'm gonna call it now, he's a golden retriever. And he very much was. I was right. Because Mahir is soft and compassionate, and he is so giddy in love with Kat. And they start talking about what Kat wants to do regarding the reunion. She's really weighing her choices because she would love to relive the glory days, but then she's also like, there's so many bad things tied to my past, and I kind of wanted to keep that down and bury it. And the conversation dredges up things from her past and what happened to her as a child star. And then she's telling us, the readers, that she had something to do with the finale being a disaster and that she should have helped Summer. And I'm reading this, I'm like, this was your fault? Like, I was already jumping to conclusions. Kat tells us that she can feel that Mahir, honey, I'm trying not to butcher his name. She's telling us that she can feel that Mahir is going to be proposing soon, and she can only tell this because he's incapable of telling a lie. He can't lie to her for shit. That's so cute. So Kat makes up her mind, and she decides, you know what? I'm not going to do the reunion. I'm not doing it. And the next day, she gets a message from her former manager, agent, whoever the hell, and they're just so excited, like, oh my god, this is gonna be so fun, you and the gang back together. And Kat's like, okay, but I just told you no less than 24 hours ago, so what are you talking about? Then guess who pops up in her office? Miss Cautionary Tale herself, Summer. We're like, ooh, what is this? So now in the book, we've come across a special section. So this is very similar to the Final Girl support group and the block party. Go watch those. on the channel, by the way. Anyway, these special sections are very reminiscent of the Final Girl support group in the block party. There's like pages from magazines, blogs, or like, you know, interviews. It's those kind of pages, right? So we're on a special page right now. So right now we're looking at a gossip blog, and it's listing Summer Wright's top 5 like best moments, worst moments, wildest moments. That's what it is. And reading this special page was very reminiscent of the exploitative nature of tabloids during the public breakdown of, like, you know, celebrities like Lindsay Lohan and Britney Spears. It was like an exact replica of that, but in a fictional format. And the article has the nerve to open with, "She's back in rehab and we hope she's doing okay," then proceeds to highlight every humiliating moment in her career for some money. So it's chapter 5, and we're jumping back to the past for the first time, and it is, what is it? It's 2002, my birth year. First things first, I wanted to highlight in this chapter before we say anything else. This is where I found out that Liana is black. Because I don't know why, and I think this is because of, this is how like the industry is and how media is. When I'm reading, I automatically assume, unless it's like stated in the first words or like, you know, the cover of the book, I automatically assume that all characters are white because of how the media is and how the industry is. I assumed all characters were white. But when this chapter started and they were going through, like, you know, the descriptors, I found out Liana, she's black. I said, oh, yes, finally. I guess I'm just so used to like not having any representation like whatsoever, and that goes into a whole nother conversation, which I will get into towards the end of the video. But moving on, so Kat takes us back in time to when the show first started. Kat was just a normal teenage girl, you know, going through the motions of life. Her parents were also in the middle of a divorce. Over summer break, she visits her family in California, and her cousin drags her to an audition. So Kat's like, I ain't got nothing better to do, I'll go to the audition. So she goes and she reads for the mean girl role, and then she tells us of her first encounter with Liana. Liana is playing the lead's supportive best friend. Now, we've seen this dozens of times. Black girlies, we are always casted as the supportive, funny best friend. Prime example, Ivy from Good Luck Charlie. That's basically what Liana is to the main character in this context. Get it? Good. And now that I know she's black, I'm disappointed because like why are we never front and center? Why are we never the main character? We're always the comic relief or the supportive, funny character. And I've said this dozens of times on the channel. That's how important it is and how it be irking me. Anyways, she meets Noah and she instantly has a crush on him, girl. Blonde, floppy hair and all. And then they all finally meet Summer. She's this cute little demure, petite, dainty little thing, right? Noah instantly falls in love with her. Now, for context, they are all 18 to 20 years old. They're within that age group, okay? I think Liana's the oldest. The youngest is 18, which I think is Summer. I don't know, but they're 18 to 20. They're in that age group, okay? First reading goes great, and the producer says, you know what, you guys should hang out, get to know each other better. So they do. And the gang decides to help Kat paint her brand new apartment, which she just moved into. And they are bonding that entire night, y'all. Like, they are just gelling, meshing, building a foundation for years to come, seemingly. And Kat's telling us that she found a home within them. She found a home within her co-stars, and that the first season of the show, you know, shooting it was just pure bliss. And then season 2 rolled around, and that's where this chapter ends. So chapter 6, and we spring back into modern day. Kat and Summer go to a bar to catch up with each other. Summer is really pressing the issue of Kat not rejoining the cast. She's like, why won't you do it? Like, what if you got to lose? Why you over here acting different? And she's like, Kat, I really want you to join. Like, I really want you to, you know, we need to do this together. I would love it if you would join us again. Summer, being her nonchalant self, she decides to get up and sing karaoke in front of a bunch of 20-somethings. So she starts to sing a popular song from the show, and people begin to recognize her. And then Kat is starting to remember, you know, what the glory of the spotlight felt like when she's up there singing her song. So the crowd starts to heckle Summer, and they want her to sing a song from her quote-unquote bad girl days, and then Summer is, you can tell, it's really bothering her. It's taking her out of the moment. So Kat jumps up to save Summer. She goes on stage and she sings another song from the show with her. So Kat thinks it through a little bit more, and she's thinking, well, if I join the reunion, maybe that'll pay off my karmic debt to what I did to Summer. She keeps saying it's her fault for what happened to Summer and what happened during the finale, and I'm thinking, damn girl, what did you do then? So then in there on the stage in the bar doing karaoke, Kat decides to join the reunion. Alright, so we're on another special page and we're looking at an article written about Summer. This is back in the day. This is like 2004, 2005-ish, okay? Oh, I'm not matching my face to my neck. Not tonight. And at this point I'm thinking, are all of these special sections going to be about Summer and Summer alone? But anyway, it's your standard profile article interview type beat, and there's a bit in this article about how Summer is so innocent and naive that she's not even aware of the creeps out there who are scarily, horrifically obsessed with her. And there's a bit in this article that says there are multiple male-centered magazines waiting for the second that Summer turns 18 so they can try to come get her to model for them. So think of stuff like, you know, in the vein of Playboy, stuff like that. Yeah. And the writer was even pressing Summer about her on and off screen relationship with Noah, because, you know, they played love interests in the show. And then she tells the writer, she's like, oh, we're just friends in real life, you know, we're just friends, we keep it professional. And then the author of the article closes it with saying, well, Summer might be shedding her good girl image faster than we think, because this is an interview and Summer is like in the middle of a fitting and she's trying on a dress that is a wee bit shorter than what she's used to, and I'm like, oh, here we go with this. Here we go with the sexualization of young women. God forbid she wants the dress a centimeter above her knee. Like, jeez. Alright, chapter 7, we're back into present day, and we see Mahir dropping Kat off at the airport. And Kat is telling us in her monologue how her boss handled the news about the reunion, and it wasn't exactly positive. So right as Kat starts to walk towards security to go through security at the airport, Mahir gets down on bended knee. Very Boys to Men in this moment. And Kat is freaking out and she lets it slip that, okay, this is not how this is supposed to happen and it's not going to happen this way. Especially when I'm about to leave. And I thought it was mean at first, but I was like, yeah, I agree, because why are you proposing to me and then I'm about to leave for 2 months for shooting this reunion, or a month? Like, why would you propose to me as I'm leaving? What are you doing? And she also recognizes in this moment that she's been avoiding it because of her busy schedule. She's literally been avoiding getting married to her boyfriend. And this really hurts poor Mahir, and he's about to cry in public in the airport. And Mahir is also confused because at first she told him, I don't even want to do this reunion, and then here we are putting her on the plane to go to LA right now. But she leaves anyway, conflict half resolved, which is never good. Resolve the whole thing. And she now claims that she has to get closure from her childhood. So now this is what it's about. You're gonna see that her reason for going through with this reunion thing, it's gonna change because she wants to justify why she's going. Girl, just say you want to go back and look at Noah some more. Just say you missed being B-list celebrity famous. Just say that at this point. Alright, chapter 8, and we're in 2004. So Kat's visiting her dad and she's back at home, and a fan recognizes her at Walmart. So Kat was in the middle of the magazine aisle taking a "which daydreamer are you" quiz in a magazine. This part is important, just wait. She got Liana when she ended up finishing the quiz, but she ended up reading Kat's description, which is her character. Oh, by the way, all of their characters in the show, they didn't change their name. Like, they didn't change their names for the characters. Like, they all have the same name as they do in real life. So it blurs the lines between reality and TV. So this is what the Kat description said, okay? We know nobody wants to be Kat, but you are, so you've got a choice. Embrace your inner villain or try to be a better person so the next time you take this quiz, you'll get Summer instead. Damn. Damn. That is harsh. It also didn't help when the fans spotted her. She's like, oh, are the others here with you? Like, Kat by herself isn't good enough or something. Kat feels underappreciated and overlooked, which I get it. So after the encounter with the fan, Summer calls Kat to tell her that her dad has passed away. And she's also asking Kat if she'll come to the funeral, which she agrees to. We also learn in this chapter that Kat and Summer are very close, like sisters. Little side note, we also learned that Summer is half Latina. Okay. I thought Summer was white up until we got her little backstory with her family, because her mama is Latina. So I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, Summer is taking her dad's loss pretty damn hard because he was her biggest supporter. And it doesn't help that the paps were posted outside the funeral either. They was waiting for the service to be over. And the network that they were working for forced Summer back into work like right after that, and she didn't have no time to grieve. So as a consolation prize for being such a trooper, the head of the network, named Mr. Atlas, gifts Summer with a green notebook. And Kat says that that very notebook was the catalyst of the disaster to come. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? So we landed on another special page and we see Summer's first diary entry ever. You know, that green journal that she was gifted, we're in that journal right now. And she is trying her best to work through her grief right now. And she tells us through this diary entry that her dad was the main one steering her career since she was 5 years old. And she was also encouraged by her dad to dye her hair blonde and speak less Spanish. So her own father whitewashed her. Well, he's a white man who's money hungry for the industry, so that makes sense. Let me keep going. And her mom was always weary of Summer having a career that young, and she says she wants to keep doing what she's doing so she can feel closer to her dad. And she also tells us in this diary entry that she might be developing some strong feelings for Noah. Why did I say Nick? I'm rewatching Big Mouth, that's probably why. Alright, chapter 9, and we're back in 2018. It's the first day back, and Kat is feeling all types of feelings, girl. I don't want to touch that. That is like the most perfect. Like, are y'all seeing this? I ain't never done a... I'm sorry, I'm admiring myself too much. Girls, shut up and do the video. Anyway, Kat and Liana, they see each other and they reunite, and it's a little awkward, which, yeah, it's been years since the incident, so why not? And then Noah comes into the picture, just standing there as if the sun shines out of his ass. And then Kat tells us that she is still holding a grudge over what happened. And I'm like, damn, so you're responsible for what happened to Summer, you're responsible for what happened at the finale, and now you're holding a grudge with Noah, against Noah. What is happening? All she tells us in this moment is that Noah was her first love, and of course he didn't know it. It's always some bullshit like that. Of course it is. Then when Summer walks in, Noah completely changes his demeanor, okay? And by this alone, we can tell that they had a history too. And we also noticed that there was something left unsaid between the two of them, because the tension in the room, girl, is heavy. After they reunite for a little bit, the cast goes to a press conference, and it is heated from the get-go, okay? They all do well enough in, avoiding tough questions and answering them professionally. But at the end of this chapter, Kat reveals that, she loves them all still, but she hates them at the same time, and she feels like she can't trust any of them. So I'm still stuck wondering at this point. I'm like, damn, what happened that night? And what did they do? I'm like, are we gonna talk about it or no? Because alright, we're back into a special section, or special page. There's a lot of special pages in this book, and they stop after a while, but there's a lot of them. So we're on this fanfic site, right? That's just funny. Sorry, we're on this fanfic site in 2005, okay? And someone wrote a different version of the end of the show because, the finale got skewed. It's your standard PG-13s, but, for now. It wasn't even the fanfic post that was making me laugh. It was the comments underneath the fanfic post. Let me read it to y'all. Crying, I can't believe we're never gonna get to see this. I don't know how you can even write something like this when Summer is a bitch slut who betrayed Noah. It's true love. It's like, did you even read the horrible things she wrote about him anyways? I hope you forget all about her, because there are a lot of girls out there who would never break his heart, and maybe he should give us a chance instead. Write the next chapter right now. I need them to have sex. Y'all, the way that I was cracking up this part, I'm like, what website is this? I'm like, did Tumblr and AO3 exist back in 2005? Because this sounds like some Tumblr AO3 hybrid shit. But anyway, chapter 10, and now we're in 2004. I am loving this. This is so, I did a good job picking this color. I'm sorry, I'm loving myself too much. Anyway, so it's 2004. The cast is in New York to shoot an episode there, and they also make an appearance on TRL. That's how you know it's 2004. TRL, come on. The way that I wanted that to be me so bad when I was younger. Anyway, after the show, the gang hangs out in Kat's hotel room, but then Noah leaves because he has a lunch or a dinner or something with the big suits. Liana eventually leaves as well, so then it's just Kat and Summer by their lonesome. So these teenagers get the stupid idea, very dumb idea, to go on a chat room pretending to be a stranger that's 27. And I'm like, that's so weird considering that this chat room is probably filled with preteens and teenagers. So 27. Anyway, they asked the people in the chat room what would they do if they met, you know, whatever, saw Summer in real life. And then somebody posted a link to a photo with a countdown clock attached to it. And it shows Summer pulling up her skirt, but she was just in the middle of fixing it. She wasn't like about to flash to anybody or anything. And then someone was like, okay, what if you met Kat instead of Summer? And then someone said, just put a bag over her head. It's the same thing. We don't need to guess which gender said that. So, yeah. The next day, the gang decides to sneak out and go hiking. And this gives Liana and Kat some time to chat with each other. So they both are sharing their frustration with not being acknowledged as much as Summer, because, you know, Summer's the lead character and everything like that. And this is where Liana tells Kat that she's not feeling the love at all. She has the least amount of lines. She's always singing back up to Summer. Anyway, in an upcoming episode, Liana actually has a solo of her own, and this is a big deal for her. Anyway, Kat catches up and she finds Noah, and ooh, that is so pretty. Oh my god, I got excited, sorry. So Kat catches up to Noah and Summer, and she stumbles on them holding hands. They don't notice Kat though. They in their own little world and stuff. Noah whispered something to Summer in this moment, but Kat couldn't hear. It wasn't loud enough. So after they went hiking, Liana decides to drag the crew out to a drag bar. She's 21 at this time. She just like me for real. A few of the queens recognize Kat and they start fangirling over her. And Kat is really enjoying this because this is the type of treatment that only Noah and Summer get. So the queens put her on stage so Kat can sing a song from the show. And that's when we see Summer hop her drunk ass on top of a table. It's like she saw all the attention that Kat was getting and she couldn't let that slide. And during Summer's table time, people start snapping photos. So now the gang has to escape the drag bar. So Noah tells the showrunner or the manager to send them a car to come rescue them. And when they get back to the hotel, the showrunner rips all of them a new one. Oh, my sister would be so proud of me if she saw this. Nani, if you're watching this, look what I did. This is very 2016-esque, and I'm loving it. I'm okay with it. We don't do fun makeup anymore. Y'all too worried about being clean girls. Girl, have some fun with yourself. And after the showrunner found out, I think his name is Michael, the showrunner, Michael. So after Michael found out that Liana was the one who took them to the drag bar in the first place, he gives her solo to Summer. I felt like this was racially motivated and favoritism, because instead of just cutting that part out of the show altogether, he gave it to Summer. Why not just cut it? You want to give it to Summer. That's weird. And after all this, after ripping them a new one and getting onto them, Michael drops the bomb that they're not going to be filming another season after season 2 because they're going to be filming a movie. That's right, the Daydreams, they got a movie deal, girl. All right, now we're going into another special page. I'm getting tired of these damn special pages. And this one is another blog, and surprise, surprise, it's about Summer as well. So basically, this blog is exposing Summer for being half Latina, which that's how you know this is like in the early 2000s, because you're not white? What? And they're also calling her a liar because she really didn't bring her Latina heritage to the forefront because of her dad's advice. And they're like, well, if she's lying about this, what else is she lying about? Don't be dumb. Don't be stupid, okay? That was a macroaggression. Micro. That was macro, okay? Now, Summer is not my favorite, but she did not deserve that at all. That was messed up. All right, chapter 11, and we're back in 2018. So after the very heated press conference, the cast does a reading for the finale. Long story short, the is garbage. Michael, the showrunner, has definitely lost his touch over the years. I mean, this was the damn genius who told them to keep their real names for their fictional characters, but I digress. And speaking to that, this caused people to view them as they were on TV, and it didn't help to humanize them at all. And this new script is loosely based off of their current real lives, and everybody hates it. Especially Summer, because essentially they're making fun of her. They're ready to, you know, move on with all of this until Summer mentions her and Noah kissing, since that was the original plan for the finale back then. Yeah. And it's implied that everyone working on the show doesn't want Noah to kiss Summer because it'll ruin his image, but Noah actually agrees that the kiss should be added to the script. So neener nanner, another special page. Like, oh my gosh, when are we gonna be done with these? Because I can't. So this is another entry from Summer's diary in 2005, and she's telling us how her crush on Nick has developed, capital D, and she's thinking dirty thoughts about him now. Being that Summer grew up like super religious, she's always been ashamed of her sexuality. Her dad put a f***ing purity ring on her at a very young age, so imagine that. She's so ashamed and like uneducated that it scares her when Liana talks about her sex life, because Liana is sexually free-spirited, okay? And she just talks about it so openly and freely like it's nothing. And she even goes as far to call Liana a slut, all because she's a grown woman who's comfortable with her sexuality. That is some bull right there. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because why I gotta be a slut? Why are you calling me a slut? Because I know what I want when I want it. Alright, chapter 12, we're back in present day. I need a brush. My hair looks insane right now. Okay, so the girls are doing a group fitting because Michael wants to work on the girls getting their chemistry back. And they all reunite with their costume designer, Harriet. Harriet was always rude and condescending toward the girls. She would even go as far as to comment on, you know, their bodies and their weight, which is uncalled for. But Kat is a grown woman now with a grown woman body. So she already knows that Harriet is gonna have something to say. So I don't know whose bright idea it was, but someone decided to put the girls in dresses that they wore 13 years ago. Kat's is too small, Summer's is too big, but when Liana puts hers on, it fit her better than it did back in the day. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Liana didn't just become a trophy wife, she became like some kind of fitness influencer or something, fitness / lifestyle influencer. So she's a gym rat and she's spent the years taking really good care of her body. So they're all laughing about how ridiculous the situation is, and Kat gets a little too comfortable. She starts joking about how Liana isn't truly happy with herself because she isn't skinny and sexy, and suddenly it's not funny anymore because that hurt Liana's feelings, and the effort to get the chemistry back in the group goes down the toilet. So it's chapter 13 and we are tossed back into 2004. So Kat, Liana, and Noah are invited to a Hollywood party along with some more Atlas stars. Summer is back in her hometown trying to put out PR fires about her being half Latina, which that's so stupid. Like, but anyway, because like it's not that big of a deal. So when Kat is getting ready for the party, she really takes the chance to, you know, beautify herself, because she doesn't get to dress up like this, you know, on the regular. You know, the show makes her to be a fool, so she's not really getting all the nice designer clothes and all that stuff. So she goes all out for this party. So they're at the party, they're walking around this big old house on the Hollywood Hills or whatever, and while Kat is exploring the house at this party, she stumbles in the bathroom and she finds another Atlas star doing booger sugar off the bathroom sink. And this star that she's looking at, she was the star of her own show on the Atlas channel until it got out to the public that she was addicted to the booger sugar. And she warns Kat that no one is to be trusted, not even her beloved co-stars. So after that little meetup, Kat and Noah decide to go for a swim in this stranger's pool. So Kat thought this was the moment that Noah was finally gonna confess his love to her under the stars and stuff. That was until he brings up Summer, because he's in love with Summer. And this is when Kat realizes that no matter how hard she tries, she will always be second banana when it comes to Summer. Chapter 14, we're back in present day. Kat is enduring her first week of rehearsals and it is kicking her sweet little ass. She also tells us how it's going with me here, and she's trying to be very attentive and caring while talking to him because she can still feel the impending proposal even though she hurt his feelings at the airport. And Kat also tells us that Liana has become one of those people who forget how to act like a human being because they're always underneath their husband. And here's what I'm thinking: God forbid she has a happy marriage and she actually likes her husband. Spoiler alert, that wasn't the case, but I'm not gonna get into it until we get up to that point. And one day she overhears Summer talking to a co-star about that day that her journal got leaked all over the news, and the co-star was being sweet and supportive, and then he offered to do the things to Summer that she wrote in her journal, which men ruin everything. Oh my gosh, just being a total creep. And then on top of that, he played a teacher to them on the show, so you do the math. And this is where the first shoe drops. Finally, this is one of the pieces of orchestrating that big season finale disaster. There's been a mystery all these years about who, released the journal to the press, and why would they do this? Why would they want to do this to Summer? You want to know who it was? You want to know who it was? Spoiler alert, it was Kat the whole f***ing time. Spoiler alert again. There's gonna be a lot of twists and turns and shocking moments. This is just one of the first, and they wear thin very quickly, but let me get back into it. So we're back on another special page, and now we're in an NPR TV special. There's a TV guide rep and a journalist as our two hosts, our co-hosts, and they're discussing an episode of the Daydreams that was deemed inappropriate by the parents. And do you remember the dresses that they tried to get them to wear? The ones that was too small, too big? This was that episode when they were wearing the dresses. They were short and pleather, and they had like little triangle cutouts on the waist. It kind of makes me think it's like a go-go dress or something like that. But anyway, the TV guide guest was crying about how inappropriate it was and how it confused her daughter, and it was just so concerning. Meanwhile, the journalist was actually worried about the stars of the network. She even called out the head of the studio, the head of the network himself, Mr. Atlas, and asked why do you treat your stars this way, and why do they act out? Like, what are you doing to them behind closed doors? And this is exactly what happened with the Disney and the Nick stars, okay? The journalist was like, y'all focused on the wrong shit. Instead of judging them and gossiping about these stars, we need to be asking them why are they doing this and what led them to do this. And she also pointed out that it's always with the women and never the men. So now we're on chapter 15, present day, and the gang is in the middle of rehearsing a song when Noah gets swept away to a previous engagement or something. Remember, he's like a big time Hollywood star, the only successful one out of the four. And ever since the production of the reunion began, he's been jetting off, leaving early to a magazine shoot, or he has an interview to do, or whatever. He'd been leaving in the middle of rehearsal like it ain't nothing. And he was the first one to say, you know what, yeah, I'll come back for a reunion, but you're not even in rehearsal, so what you do? What's happening? And no one has said anything about it because Noah is the big star in demand. So Kat has had enough of the bullshit, and she finally tells Noah about himself. And she's like, you're treating this as if it's not important. You're coming and going as you please when the rest of us have given up things in our lives to be here for this. Like, we're putting our lives on pause to be here, and you just treating it like it ain't nothing. So Noah finally tells Kat why he's been dipping in and out. Apparently, he's going to be playing this superhero in a highly anticipated movie. Like, this is the most highly anticipated film adaptation of a very popular comic. Think Chris Evans being casted as Captain America. it's at that magnitude. It's that big of a deal. And he ends up taking Kat with him to do some promo stuff for this very project. And this is where we get a glimpse of Noah's day-to-day, and we see how he is dehumanized in the process of things. They're changing his appearance without considering what he has to say. They're zooming in on suggestive parts of his body. They're filming promo and getting pictures and stuff, and they're zooming in on his nether regions, on his pecs, because he's shirtless. They just treat him like a piece of meat. And Kat even pokes fun at him, going, oh, boo-hoo, your life is so hard, you're adored by many, like, whatever, off. And by the end of all this, she's like, I'm still pissed at you, and you need to do better. And Noah's like, okay, fine, I will. Chapter 16, we're back in 2005, and Noah and Summer are rehearsing the big kiss for the finale. At first, they're awkward, which expected, but after running it a few times, they get real comfortable with it. And Kat Liana are in the corner watching like, oh, can we get to our parts of the rehearsal? Y'all been smacking each other's lips this whole time. So after rehearsal is over, Kat overhears Noah and Summer talking to each other on the lot. And apparently these two lovebirds want to be together, and so Summer is going to wait until after the finale is over to break things off with her boyfriend back home. And she wants to give Noah her virginity. Remember, she had a purity ring, all that stuff, right? And Kat was feeling some type of way because, you know, she's madly in love with Noah and he has no idea. No one knows. So Kat walks up on him and she's like, hey, what y'all doing? And she is so surprised at Summer and how she just lies so fast and so easily. And it made Kat wonder, like, okay, if you could lie that well to my face just now, what else are you lying about? Now we're on another special page. These special pages are getting on my damn nerve. Like, there's so many of them. The chapters are short and there's like a special page each time. So now we're looking at an Us Weekly article surrounding Noah and Summer's romance. And it seems that the writers don't know fact from fiction because they say that Summer is cheating on her boyfriend in a room full of people, which in this case, yes, because they actually do want to be together, but they're acting. This is their job. Like, they're playing pretend. Like, they're working. Even if they weren't romantically involved in real life, they are working. Alright, chapter 17, we're back in 2018. We're watching the cast rehearse, and Noah and Summer are going over their duet together. Noah is way out of practice because, girl, he can't hit the note. My inner choir kid came out during this part talking about find your note. So Summer and Noah end up switching parts, and lo and behold, now he can sing it. And Kat is starting to notice the cracks in his armor because, you know, he's supposed to be perfect all the time. And as they keep rehearsing the song, the sparks between Noah and Summer seem to reignite. So there's that. Kat makes it super clear that if Summer gets near Noah, he's gonna break her heart. Chapter 18, we're back in 2005. So now we're at a run-through rehearsal for the finale, but all the big suits are sitting in. And this is shortly after that Us Weekly article came out about Summer and Noah, and because of that very article, Summer's boyfriend is sitting in on the rehearsal as well. And for the most part, the rehearsal is like perfect except for the kissing scene, because now oh goodness, these damn hiccups. Summer and Noah are now being hella awkward because her boyfriend is watching them. So after the run through, Summer's boyfriend and Noah get into a pissing contest, and they going at it. Girl, they keep going and going and going, almost getting into a physical fight. Kat and Liana, like always, are watching from the sidelines, and Liana is being messy as f***. It eventually gets broken up, but Noah was this close to spilling the beans about him and Summer. We're back in 2005, and it's another special page. We're back in Summer's diary, and she's talking shit about Noah. She's talking about how selfish he is and how he don't really care about her, and she's seeing him in a different light. She's talking shit about him after he almost got into a fight with her boyfriend. Chapter 19, we are thrust back into present day. Kat is on the phone with Mahir, and he sends her an article. And there's a picture of her and Noah leaving the superhero promo together. Mahir is feeling some type of way, valid, and Kat reassures him that there's nothing going on. There's nothing you need to worry about. Ugh. She's also getting messages from her boss that the article is not a good look for the firm. Kat is feeling very lonely in this moment, so she calls Liana to come hang out with her. And Kat also apologizes to Liana about the joke that she made at the fitting. I can't with these hiccups. They get to talking about their relationships with each other. Kat brings up the fact that Mahir may want kids, and soon. And this is when Liana tells Kat that her and her husband have been trying to have kids for a while. There's lots unsaid between these two, but Liana eventually calls it a night. Chapter 20, we're back in 2005. So Kat finds out that her dad is getting married to another person, and this upsets her because she's still not over the divorce between her mom and him. So to make herself feel better, she takes her girlfriends, Summer and Liana, and she goes to buy a cherry red sports car convertible. So the girls drive this very out of place, very noticeable sports car to McDonald's of all places, and the paparazzi swarms them out of nowhere, and it's really freaking the girls out. But Kat and Liana are trying their best to like fight back against it, and during the paparazzi swarm, Summer begins to have like a panic attack, and I kind of feel bad for them in this moment because I'm like, damn, they can't even go to Mickey D's in peace. So it's the next day, and Michael, the showrunner, is telling them that the Mickey D's incident is literally everywhere, and he gets on to them about, you know, making the network look bad, lecture here, screaming there, what have you. And Liana jumps up like, they came at us first, like we were trying to defend ourselves, like what? She was like, what else were we supposed to do, just let them freaking harass us? And Michael says in turn that if they don't clean their act up, they're gonna get kicked off the show. And he outright said to both Kat and Liana that he only needs Summer because Summer's the star. They can be replaced within an instant. Both girls straightened up real fast and promised to be, you know, more well behaved. And this part really pissed me off because Kat and Liana, if not more, are like just as talented as Summer, and Michael is treating them as if they're disposable, especially Liana. And I do think it's because she's the only black girl. And then Liana even told Kat that she feels like Michael is waiting for her to mess up so he can have an excuse to replace her with another black girl. Michael even told the both of them, be more like Summer. I would have walked. I know, like, easier said than done, but I would have walked. Like, what do you mean? They both do right for a little while until they get invited to another Hollywood party, and we know about Hollywood parties, and they decide to bring Summer with them for some reason. I don't know. Special section again after this chapter. So it's 2005 again, and we're back in Summer's diary again, and she's telling us about her night, the night that Kat and Liana dragged her out to a Hollywood party. And this was the night that she finally lost her virginity, and it was not to Noah. From the way she was telling it, she was super drunk and she just went with it. So she was SA'd is what I'm putting together. But now she has this secret that she has to hide from her castmates, especially Noah, because she promised him the V card, so she's keeping this under wraps. All right, chapter 21, we're back in 2018. Another day of rehearsal, you know, for the cast, but this time Liana's husband, Javier, he's in the house. And Kat notices that their relationship might be PR just from the way that they hug, but she remembers that Liana truly does love him. So during rehearsals, they're running a very degrading scene with Summer's character, and it's not working because it doesn't reflect who she was on the OG show. So Kat finally decides to speak up because she wouldn't dare challenge Michael all those years ago, and she tells Michael to change the scene. And after everyone chimes in, Michael begrudgingly agrees to, like, you know, rewrite the scene so it looks better for Summer. So when the whole crew is leaving, cast crew is leaving, there are paps everywhere crawling on the premises, okay? And you know what one of them asks Liana? One of them comes up to Liana and asks her, how does it feel to know that Javier's mistress is pregnant? It's always a ball player. It's always a man. This is crazy because Liana just told Kat that they had been trying for 2 years, but your mistress get pregnant just like Javier, you a hoe. And I hope you know that. Chapter 22, we pick up right after this chapter, right after a little cliffhanger. The girls take Liana away from the paps while Noah distracts them. Liana is distraught, okay? So Summer decides to take her away from all this and takes her to her childhood home. Kat and Summer get her to calm down. Liana admits that she knew about the affair and the baby. So I'm just sitting here like, because she then said she's still gonna stay with him, and Liana is only staying with him because she believes that Javier is the reason why she was pulled from obscurity after the show had ended all those years ago. And I'm like, Liana, if you don't stand your ass up, stand up, girl. Kat and Summer is saying everything that they can to, like, persuade her that, you know, she is everything without Javier. Like, she don't need him. And they also encourage Liana to leave him. Leave his sorry ass, cause So chapter 23, back in 2005 okay? Not much happened in this chapter until the end of it. Michael scolds Liana again. It's the day of the live finale. Tensions are high, nerves, stress, going everywhere, right? The chapter comes to a close when Michael turns up the TV to watch a news broadcast. Everyone in the green room is listening to the two anchors on TV saying that the news has gotten a hold of Summer's private journal. During this time, I'm thinking that Kat was the one who released it because, you know, she was saying how she was responsible for all this happening. So I was like, okay, I want to see all the reactions unfold, knowing that this was her doing. Chapter 24, we're back in 2018. The girls are finally having a true connection, you know, during this trying time for Liana. Kat and Summer finally put her to bed after they let her drink her pain all day. Then they go to Summer's bedroom, which looks like it was frozen in time. Kat and Summer talk some more about that fateful day and basically how Kat has been avoiding her for 13 years. And it's at this very moment that Kat decides to tell Summer something. And before Kat can even confess, Summer put her two and two together and she figured it out. Chapter 25, now we're back in 05. So we're thrown right back into the fray as we hear the news reading all of Summer's business. She was talking about everybody, as we all know. And here's the second twist. Not only did Kat release the journal to the news reporters, she wrote the whole thing. All of it, except for that first entry, came from Kat's pen. This means that everything that is being exposed on live television is a lie. Kat did it because she felt that this is what Summer deserved. She had everything, so she wanted to take it away. Straight jealousy. And I'm just thinking in my head at this moment, I'm like, Kat, you are f***ing scum. Is Summer a bit of a spoiled brat? Yes. Did she get away with everything? Absolutely. Did she deserve this? Hell no. And now Michael is saying that Mr. Atlas is going to axe the movie deal because of all of this happening. And still, the whole cast is forced to go on with the live show. And so as she's running through the wings, she sees her mom. Summer sees her mom. She's like, Mom, I'm so sorry. And then as she's going to hug her mother takes her hand and just goes, backhands her. I'm like, oh, damn. So chapter 26, we're back in 2018. This chapter is only a page and a half, so not much going on. So Kat tells Summer that she didn't release it, but she did write it. So now I'm confused. I'm like, okay, so are you lying? Because you were telling us the whole time that you were responsible for this happening. I believe you wrote in it, but now you're trying to say that you didn't release it. Because I automatically assumed if you wrote in it, you released it as well, right? Because why would you only write in it but not take it to the press? So I'm like, Kat, are you lying to us right now? And I'm side-eyeing her extra hard for this because you've been keeping this a secret for 13 years. I don't trust you. But we do find out that Summer did lie about being a virgin. She wants answers. So this chapter ends with her telling Kat to sit the down. Chapter 27, still present day, and this one is very different from the get-go. It says Summer's soliloquy at the top of it. Like, it doesn't say chapter, you know, whatever. It just says Summer soliloquy at the top of it, right? And Summer is telling us from her point of view what happened the night of the finale. And at the same time, she's telling Kat what happened from her point of view. So she's talking to both us and to Kat. So she's telling us how she already lost her virginity to her boyfriend back at home, and how he was not the one that she wanted to be with. She wanted to be with Noah's ass. And also Lucas got a little jealous and crazy because after they had slept together, he blamed her for the show tempting him and tempting her, and just temptation and sin, because, you know, they was religious, ruining her innocence and being really weird about it. Like, sir, it takes two to tango, but it's my fault because I let the show tempt me. Okay. After the news had exposed a few entries of the journal, she immediately told Noah that none of it was true, and he seemingly believed her. And this is where we start to see everyone turn against Summer. And then Summer was saying how she felt that Liana and Kat didn't care about her for real, because why aren't you defending me? Like, where's my backup? Well, girl, you never defended them when they were getting chewed out by Michael. You didn't come to their defense when it was time for you to do that. So you expect them to be at your side for this? I don't blame them, because you always get away with everything, and you get everything that you want. So when the big kiss scene comes up in the finale and they're supposed to, you know, kiss, Noah like moves back and like doesn't kiss her at all. And that was what got Summer switched to flip. She was like, at this point, I ain't got nothing to lose. Now that the head of the network hates me, people think I'm a hoe. My mom hates me, my dad's dead. You know, Noah hates me now. So if they want a hoe, I'm gonna show them a hoe. So right before the grand finale, like the big ending, Summer runs up like to the front of the stage and she starts to unbutton her dress, but the camera is cut before she can show too much, right? And right when she splashes the audience, Liana tackles her to the ground. But after the show ends, Summer is on her way to Noah's trailer and she wants to explain everything. She wants to apologize, yada yada yada. And then she bumps into Liana, and Liana's like, listen, you don't want to go in Noah's trailer right now. He has a girl in there, I think, and I think they might be in there, you know. So Summer just ruined her entire career. She ruined her castmates' careers as well. So she just runs away, and that was the end of it from her side of things. Yeah. This says, in my notes, it says special page, insert Snapchat video. Oh my god. So I'm still reading Daydreams, right? I landed on a special page. This right here. See that? Noah is on a radio show promoting his new single. He a singer now, girl, because the show got canceled, girl. Anyway, the first thing that the interviewer asked Noah is, you know, about the whole finale fiasco, about Summer getting naked on national television, talking about, oh, I bet you blacked out when you saw her tits, or like, so how was it when you slept with her? Well, you know, he was just being real sleazy. He kept pushing, he kept asking about Summer and if Noah and her had sex. But that's not what's pissing me off. It's not the sleazy, nasty, disgusting interviewer who keeps ignoring Noah. It's the fact that Noah is not defending her. Now listen. I know you mad because of the whole journal situation, because of the whole getting naked situation, and because of the whole virginity thing. I understand all of that. I do. But what I don't understand is he want that bag more than anything. Here's the thing about Noah, because he has always been the golden boy. He was the star of the show for real. We think Summer was the star. No, it was Noah. He was the only boy in the main cast. He got away with literally everything. Anything that he said went, okay? And so I get that you mad because Summer decided to ruin your career along with hers. But the least you could do for your so-called love of your life right before all this went down, the least you could do is defend her. And be like, hey, man, that's not cool. But we're not here to talk about Summer. Hey, I don't like the way let's give her a break. She's been through enough. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's talk about my music. He was just laughing like, oh, man, you crazy. But I'm here to promote my new single. Oh, that's crazy. It's not crazy. Defend her. Like, you just brushing it off like, yeah, like deflect, do your media training, but like at least defend the girl. Listen. No. Chapter 28, now we're back in Kat's POV, and she's feeling absolutely awful for what she did, as you should, because what is wrong with you? Summer ain't giving her no type of grace, and you know what? She shouldn't, because what Kat did was up. Now Kat is saying she only came back to the reunion in hopes of redeeming herself in Summer's eyes. I thought you wanted to get closure from your childhood. Maybe this is the closure she was talking about, but that's not what you said the first time. So which one is it? You unreliable. And this is when she finds out Summer wants that too, but mostly she wants to get revenge on Noah. So Summer shows Kat a movie that Noah had created a few years ago, and it's an animated movie called The Woodlands. The entire story is loosely based off of stuff that actually happened between him and Summer. The death of Summer's dad and Summer's downward spiral in the public eye. And not only was Summer mad about Noah doing this without her permission, he did this whole entire movie and did not give her no type of credit. He won an Oscar and everything for this movie and didn't mention Summer once. And this shocks Kat because ultimately she thought that he was striving to be better when really he still ain't shit. So, alright, chapter 29. It's the morning after this whole, confession thing, and the girls are late for rehearsal. And on the way there, Liana and Kat are reading up about the whole Javier fiasco. And Kat notices that one picture of her and Noah during the incident looks very suggestive, so she's kind of panicking. And a few fans start speculating in the comments. They get to rehearsal, and for the first time in history, Michael is yelling at Summer. He's blaming her for using again, because Summer had a time where she was not sober. And he's screaming, he's going off, and then suddenly he drops to the floor. He done gave himself a heart attack, girl. I'm just thinking at this point, maybe this will teach Michael to be a little more compassionate. Chapter 30. So Michael is hauled off to the hospital, and he's fine, but he's going to be unavailable for a few days. He needs to rest. Cass wants to push the live performance date back, but Mr. Atlas says no way, we have too much money riding on this, we had it blocked out for commercial on this day and that night, we're not pushing it back. Too much money has gone into this. They want to stick with that original date because that's when they're going to reveal Noah's new superhero project to get more buzz for both things. Get it? Get it. Okay. And during all this commotion, Mahir calls Kat, and he's calling to check on Liana, but mostly about the picture that he saw because it looked a little suggestive, like I said, between Kat and Noah. And he's having a moment of insecurity, and I honestly don't blame him. And then just for one last piece of reassurance, Mahir asks, did anything ever happen between you two? And Kat just says, once. So he was right to be insecure, because now that everything is falling apart, you want to admit it once. All right, so chapter 31, we're thrown back into the live show debacle in 2005. Kat and Liana are in Noah's trailer, and he's freaking the out, and they're all freaking out, so they just start drinking. And they're instructed by the higher ups to stay out of the public eye while they do damage control on Summer. Everyone is having a very rough time with this, but Noah is taking it the worst. So when Liana steps outside of the trailer to make a call, Kat and Noah are sharing a lot of their hurt feelings with each other, and this led to them making out with a little whirly twirly, and Liana almost catches them when she comes back inside to get her stuff. And that second time that she leaves, that's when she runs into Summer when she's trying to go, get to Noah. Kat was the girl in the trailer this entire time. All these years, Kat was the girl in the trailer with Noah. And in this moment, Kat has a decision to make. She can stay with Noah and comfort him in a way that she knows will never constitute a serious relationship, or she can leave with her dignity intact. She chose the latter, thank God. And that's how her and Noah stopped talking for 13 years. They messy. All four of them. Chapter 32, back in the present days. And after Kat told this to Mahir, he is hurt, as I imagine. He had a nagging feeling that something was going on, and it took him grilling Kat for her to finally admit it, which is not what he wanted to do. He just wanted to be able to trust his girlfriend, but he can't even do that. And they're literally on the cusp of breaking up at this moment. She needs to get her shit together. Not much else happens in this chapter. They decide the show must go on, and Kat still despises Noah. And at the end of this chapter, Kat tells Summer that she is willing to help her take Noah down. So the plan is Kat is gonna talk Summer up to Noah, get Summer back into his good graces, and when the time is right, Summer is going to secretly record Noah confessing that, he did not give her credit for the idea for the movie. Chapter 33, present day. Not much going on in this chapter either. Summer and Kat go on the beach and devise a plan on how to get revenge on Noah. That's it. Chapter 34. There's not much going on in this one either. Like these 3 chapters in a row, there wasn't too much going on. Michael's assistant steps in to run the show, and he's pretty young, very green guy in the industry. Not a lot of backbone on this baby. Being that he doesn't have a lot of backbone, or zero backbone, the cast pressures him into rewriting the entire show so that all of the characters are more flattering. Then Kat starts to initiate the plan, starts to butter him up about Summer, and this is where things get set in motion. Chapter 35, it's the next day, and the cast is running the new version of the show that was written. So when it comes to Noah and Summer's special scene, she admits that she rewrote the kiss in because we didn't get to do it, in the original. They kiss, and the chemistry, off the charts. And Kat knows that Summer's passion is coming from a place of anger, and she's looking at Noah, and she's like, oh, he probably thinks that they're getting back together or some shit, And as rehearsal continues, Summer decides to do something right for once and for all, and she gives up her solo to Liana because she never got to do her solo back in the day. And as expected, Liana kills that shit. She sang the house down. Noah gets a little touchy, a little cuddly during Liana's solo, and he ends up filling up Summer's knee. I was like, oh. And Kat and Summer signal to each other that the plan's working. Keep it at. All right, chapter 36. We're still in present day, and we are officially 1 week away from the live broadcast. And this is where they're going to run the new version of the show in front of the big suits. And Michael is back from the hospital. Summer tells Kat that Noah invited her back to his place, and that's when she's gonna record him. So they run their version of the show for everybody, and Michael is pissed. He's going off and degrading them about changing what he wrote, and this should have been left alone. I'm like, oh, shut up. And he gets so mad that he fires his assistant in front of everyone. And Mr. Atlas backs Michael on this, and he's like, there's too much writing on this, this show. Like, we can't just go changing things willy-nilly. Stick to the original script. So the cast is defeated. They're done. They had nothing left to give, so they end up going from the top but running Michael's original version of the show. All right, chapter 37. So after rehearsals are over, they go to this Mexican restaurant to drink their sorrows away, lick their wounds. And Kat is trying to encourage everybody to fight against the suits and go with their version of the show, but they're not feeling it. And Summer lashes out at Noah because to him, he's treating this as if it's like a side quest or something, that it's not that important to him. And it's not the same because, to her and for Liana, this is their second and last chance for stardom. She calls him out for being ungrateful and fickle, and then she runs off somewhere. So Kat runs after her, goes to find Summer, and she finds Summer at the bar taking shots with a stranger. A stranger then takes her to the bathroom, and Kat opens the bathroom door and she finds Summer about to relapse. And Summer breaks down again. She doesn't do the drugs, but she's cursing herself for ruining the plan. She let it get to her, And Kat was like, you know what? I can get the recording. Let me get the recording. Let me get him, confessing. So Liana takes Summer back home so she can sleep it off, and Kat and Noah leave together. So it's chapter 38. We're at Noah's place. It's Kat and Noah alone together, and he gets a little bit of alcohol in him, and he does confess that he did not give Summer credit for the movie and that he wrote the script without talking to her first. And then after he confesses, Noah just starts making an endless list of excuses, and Kat gets pissed and she's about to leave. That is until Noah stops her and says, can I tell you something? It's always, can I tell you something? Similar to Summer's soliloquy, we now have Noah's soliloquy, and now we're gonna be seeing things from his POV. And we learn in this chapter that Noah is way worse than what Kat was telling us. He a dog, and I already didn't like him to begin with, but when he started to unburden himself to Kat, I got so pissed. Noah tells us his journey of becoming an actor and how he acquired a secret identity, or a secret persona per se, reputation in the industry. The other guys his age called him the pounder. I hate men for real. And he recounts the first time that he met Summer and accidentally fell in love with her. He walks us through the moment where the journal was exposed and how he felt so betrayed. And that same night backstage, Summer's boyfriend was in Noah's ear getting into his head, saying all this stuff, and that threw him over the edge. And that's why he didn't kiss her. He had a girlfriend later on in life when he was older, but he didn't love her the way that he loved Summer. And he realized that he was never gonna love somebody the way he loved Summer. And when him and his girlfriend would get serious, start talking about marriage, Noah would always shut down. He didn't want to talk about it. And then he walks us through the process of him getting that superhero role and him being interviewed, and that's where it's like a full circle, because that interview is about that superhero role, and that's when that interviewer asks him about the reunion. We find out that Noah asked the interviewer to put him on the spot about the Daydreams, and he did this because he hoped that it would bait Summer into coming back. Hey,
where'd your face go?
You're probably wondering, Talia, what is this? What happened? So when I was filming originally, my camera died, and I noticed the time, and it was well past midnight on a Monday, and that's way too late after my bedtime. I can't. So I decided I'm just gonna pick up where I left off on a different day. So different day, Same shenanigans. Let's jump back into it. So yeah, anyway, Noah only said that he would do a reunion in hopes of getting Summer to come back, and he thought if she came back, then he can right all his wrongs. Noah is a f***ing pussy, because after the finale debacle, he ran behind the big suits at the network who protected him no matter what. And he was included in that, you know, boys will be boys type bullshit, because he was never held accountable for what he did, and those douchebags made excuses for everything. And Noah is the reason why the reunion happened in the first place. Alright, chapter 40. This one's kind of short. We're back in Kat's POV, and Noah is throwing himself a pity party. And Kat is pissed because she thought that forgiveness would be the one thing that would reignite or repair their friendship, and then he go ahead and tell us this. And then Noah's like, am I a bad person? And Kat's like, I don't know, but you're sure as not a good one. And I'm like, Kat, quit bullshit. He's a terrible person. And she has the nerve to be as mad as she is, like she's not a horrible person too. And she decides to tell him in this moment, after he said all that all those years ago she was in love with him and all that stuff. And she also told him how he hurt her, because low-key he wasn't really interested in Kat until he couldn't have Summer anymore, or didn't want Summer anymore. She was basically his second choice. Alright, chapter 41, it's the next day, and Kat is letting Summer listen to the recording of Noah's confession. And Kat finds Harriet, their costume designer person, rummaging through their stuff like she did back in the day. She was just nosy, had no type of boundaries whatsoever. And Harriet claims that she was tidying up after them, which I don't believe. And then after Kat sees Harriet, you know, rummaging through their stuff, she has a shocking realization that maybe it was Harriet who released the journal to the press. And Harriet never liked none of them, so it would make sense. Plus, Harriet was acting a little funny the night the journal was exposed on the news, so it kind of lined up. So Kat confronts her, Harriet denies it, and Kat is like, something ain't adding up. Something ain't right. Meanwhile, Summer gets the audio confession and she sends it to one of her friends who's a reporter, and it's time to watch the chaos unravel in real time. Alright, chapter 42, and the whole cast goes on Jimmy Fallon. They say a talk show host with the first name Jimmy, and by the way they described it, it was sounding like The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Is that his show? There's so many late night talk shows. I assume it's Jimmy Fallon because they mentioned something very Roots-esque in this part, but anyway. And they're all pretending to love each other again, and it's a little awkward. And Jimmy brings up Noah's movie, just showering him in compliments. And Noah is acting weird because he knows he's full of shit. And Summer is trying her damnedest not to expose him right then and there. She's keeping it in. Until Noah finally comes clean to everybody in the studio, the audience, the crew, his cast, all that stuff, that the idea came from Summer and that he did not give her credit for anything that he did in the movie. And Summer thanks him, but something is a little bit off with her still. And this part pissed me off because, just like a man to steal our thunder, to steal our moment. Like, Kat and Summer had a plan to take him down, like, from point A to point Z, and now it's just going down the drain because he want to be selfless all of a sudden and take accountability for his actions at the last minute. I bet Noah thought he ate that, trying to hold himself accountable. Like, you're doing the bare minimum and 13 years late, mind you, but I digress. Like, yes, you should have told the world that it wasn't your idea. You should have been told the world, but you want to do it right here, right now, on live TV in front of everyone. It just felt cheap. And I was like, Noah, you dirty. Like, he's low-key dirty. Like, he's passively aggressively dirty. I'm not explaining it further. Chapter 43, and we're following the group after the interview. Kat and Summer, they going at it. They arguing, right? Summer thinks that Kat blew their cover so Noah could get in front of the narrative and, like, tweak it, make it his own. And this is when Summer tells Liana finally that the whole journal incident was Kat's fault. And now it's time for plot twist number 3. Remember how we thought it was Harriet and or Kat that released the journal to the press? No. It was Liana who released it to the press, so everybody just low down dirty. So you got Kat falsifying all of the entries, and you got Liana who gave the journal to the press to expose to the entire world. Y'all are filthy. Y'all are low down. Y'all are scum. And she said she did it because Michael was gonna cut her out of the movie. And I'm just thinking in my inner monologue, I'm just like, Liana, what the fuck? This is what I was doing. I was just trying to calm myself because at this point I thought I could at least trust somebody from the cast. I can't even do that. Now Liana in the mix. she ain't innocent either. So it's chapter 44 and we finally get Liana's soliloquy. I was beginning to think that they weren't gonna give her shit. And I'm just like, racially motivated. Now she's telling us her backstory and her version of the Atlas experience. And she is recounting the night Michael fired her after catching her in a car with an actor who was drunk driving or something. And everyone thought that she was dating this actor, but turns out Liana was just his beard so he could keep up appearances. And I'm like, okay, ally. Liana also tells us that she was never able to express her emotions and she always had to be the one to keep it together. If I didn't relate to that on so many levels, because oh my gosh, she was already the odd man out for being black alone. Like that was just already, you know, enough to separate her from the pack. And Michael went as far as saying that she was the diversity hire. Michael, please watch your mouth. If anything, watch your mouth. It was the way that Liana worked twice as hard as everybody else and was still overlooked. If that ain't some of us out here. Okay, so one day Liana found Summer's journal, read the whole thing, and took it straight to Mr. Atlas. And she was straight up like, I'm getting in trouble for everything, but Summer's doing worse than I am, and she never gets in trouble. So what we gonna do about this? And she is tired of the favoritism girl. She's like, you either fire both of us or you let both of us stay, because this ain't gonna work for me. And Mr. Atlas was trying to gaslight the out of her, talking about, this isn't how you treat a friend. Sir, quit deflecting from the topic at hand and be real with me. Like, what are you, either fire the both of us for acting out or you keep both of us, because what do you mean? And Liana claps back to that. She's like, well, if you and your company didn't pit us against each other at every moment's turn, this wouldn't have happened. And I'm like, read him down to the ground. Boots down. And then we find out through their little conversation that it was actually Mr. Atlas's assistant who leaked it. So I'm at this point, I'm like, okay, one of y'all lying, because somebody is lying. We had all these twists and turns, and now I'm not even shocked anymore. I'm just annoyed. I'm like, okay, so Liana found it, took it to Mr. Atlas, and then had his assistant release it. So Liana didn't release it like she says she released it. Like, who's lying? Did you or did you not release it? Because I'm getting angry with you. Chapter 45. Okay, my notes say this. I'm reading my notes. It says, okay, now I'm confused. So now the girls are saying that this was part of Mr. Atlas's plan all along, and I'm just like, how? And now they're theorizing that he wanted this to happen so he could swoop in and save Summer's image in her career. And I'm just like, that seems like a lot of trouble to go through. Like, you're losing stakes, and this is his company, this is his network, and he would purposely lose stakes so he could play the hero, which I wouldn't put it past him, because look. And at this point I'm thinking, they doing too much. They're doing too much for me. So the girls ultimately agreed to follow through with the reunion, finish the show, and never ever give Mr. Atlas anything ever again. Like, no more from them. Which I'm like, finally, damn. And Summer said, and on top of that, after this over, I'm done with you and you. She said, Liana and Kat, time to get the because I'm done. Because they did her dirty. They did her dirty. And yes, she was spoiled, and she was like, you know, the main receiver of favoritism, but Kat, Liana, y'all filthy. So we're on another special page, and my notes say, just read this one, LOL, page 317. So since I don't have the book on hand with me because I'm still not at home, I'll just edit it in of me reading it. Cool. Hey, all right, so I'm gonna put the special page up on the screen so y'all can see it. Okay, so we on Twitter now. Is anyone else watching this Jimmy interview with the Daydreams cast? I think Noah just said that he stole Woodlands from Summer. Of course he did. This is what I've been saying for years now. Noah is trash with a capital T. Calm down. He didn't steal it from her. He still wrote the script himself. Just because you talk about something with someone doesn't mean they can never write about it. This happens all the time. And she obviously wasn't going to write it. But to not even ask her, did you see this new article with more details? She wrote the line. I've had her words tattooed on me this whole time, and I didn't even know. He is yet another man profiting off of a woman's unpaid labor. In TBH, I think we as a culture have moved beyond the need for him.
I hope during, oh my God, I hope during the live show tomorrow, she stomps on his face. Yes, red rum him. They got a little passionate. Okay, back to the video.
46. It's the day of the reunion and Summer is being super dry with Kat Liana. She ain't trying to talk to them, girl. I wouldn't either because y'all were plotting on my downfall, literally. And it kept it a secret for 13 years. Bitch. On Kat's side of things, she is severely regretting choosing Hollywood over her career, her stable career. And as the girls are getting ready for the show, they realize Noah, surprise, surprise, is nowhere to be found. And the show is about to start in 30 minutes. So where is he at? We don't know. And Kat looks over and she notices that Summer has this look on her face. So she automatically knows that Summer has something to do with Noah not being here. And I'm like, haven't we been through enough? Like, what did you do now is my question. What did you do now? I'm getting stressed all over again. Okay, chapter 47. It's another Summer soliloquy, okay? So we're in Summer's POV. And she's telling us the tea about how Noah showed up outside her hotel room trying to apologize and grovel and shit. And Summer is trying everything she can to make him feel bad because, yeah, you deserve that. And she's pissed because he has the nerve to just now apologize after everything he's done. So Summer pulls the last trick out of her sleeve and uses their past romance to draw on his emotions and convince Noah to run away with her. The manipulating, oh my god. And of course, Noah's stupid ass falls for it and he falls right back in love with Summer. I'm sorry, because he clueless for real. And for some reason, Summer thinks that finally being able to sleep with him is getting what she deserves after all these years. So you did all this to enact your revenge, but you still wanted to f now you're just being selfish because do you hate him or not? It's like you're letting him sleep with you. It's like you're letting him sleep with you, but in reality, that's the first thing he wanted to do since he met you all those years ago. So it doesn't feel just. Like she's like, yeah, I'm gonna sleep with him and then, you know, leave him twisting in the wind. Girl, be honest, you wanted to f that man because you didn't get a chance to f him when y'all was younger. Girl. Chapter 48. Okay, this is where the book pissed me off. So now that Kat and Liana know what Summer did, they're scrambling and panicking because they don't know what to do about the show. So Liana gets a notification on her phone and it's a video and she's showing Kat, and a fan spots Noah waiting at the airport for Summer. And this is in real time. He's still there as they're watching the video. And for some reason, Summer decides to join him after all. I thought that you were going to trick him into running away with you as, you know, to enact your revenge. So, and then she decides to go anyway. So all of this was for nothing. And also, Summer's leaving like she's doing Kat and Liana a favor or some shit. It's like she's finally giving them the spotlight they deserved all those years ago. Girl, please. Summer, I am so disappointed in you. You told us throughout this entire book how Noah betrayed you, how he hurt you, how he ruined your life, and how you wanted to see him fail. What is this? And then you go straight back to him after all these years. Digmatized. That's what that is. Alright, chapter 49. Everybody's freaking out now because Summer and Noah have flown the coop. Michael's freaking out too, and that's no help. So Kat steps up and decides to take charge of the situation. After handling everything, Mr. Atlas says he's gonna send his legal team after Noah and Summer. And Kat's like, wait, not so fast. Hold on a second. There's a clause in all of their contracts that says they can renege if damaging info were to come out against them, like the journal being released. She's putting that law degree to use, honey. Mr. Atlas is gagged and Kat's like, listen, you've done enough. Just let them slide this once. And he ain't got else to say, as he shouldn't. Alright, chapter 50. This is the last chapter of the book. The show goes on with the plan B, like the version that the cast wrote, and the crowd is starting to get restless because where are Summer and Noah? Where's our ship? Where they at? And Kat takes a moment to finally free herself and her castmates from the clutches of the Atlas machine. Kat and Liana admit on live television that they were responsible for getting Summer's journal leaked. And this pisses Mr. Atlas off and he's trying to cover it up, but there are people literally recording everywhere. And to close this chapter, a screen is displayed in front of the audience showing a live broadcast of Summer and Noah at the airport, finally giving them the scene that they've been waiting for 13 years. They finally do the kiss. Summer directly addresses the viewers and says, "There's your kiss, now leave us the hell alone." That would have been so much more badass if things didn't end up the way it did. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. One more thing I lied. We have the epilogue. So this is 8 months later and we're now in 2019. Kat and Mahir are finally married. Congrats to them. Woot woot. Noah and Summer are still together, which I'm shocked at. Cause y'all are toxic as hell. Like, how did y'all stay together for 8 months? Liana is solo dolo and she is doing pretty good in her career. So good for Liana. There's a bunch of rushed updates and I didn't care for it. The Atlas Empire fell and Kat, Summer, and Noah ruined their careers. I don't know how Leah got out unscathed, but okay. And now they're all at Summer's house about to do a read-through of a passion project that she's been working on. Did not like this ending. Hated the ending. The ending had me upset. If I had to rate this, 7, at the highest 8. Because this story was very interesting, but that last third of the book, it lost me. I don't know how I finished it. I don't know how I didn't DNF this one, but the last third of the book pissed me off because there was too much going on and they was doing too much. And it also felt very rushed, that last third of the book. So I was like, okay. And I did not like that Summer ended up with the person she was trying to destroy all along. Like, what does that say about you? Like, you're weak-minded or what? You're weak-willed? What? None of the characters are likable. They are all horrible people. Except for Mahir. He was probably the only innocent one. I think he's the only one with redeeming qualities. Everybody else is just awful. But yeah, that's my rating. So, but yeah, that was The Daydreams by Laura Hankin. Yeah. So now that I've talked about the book, I want to kind of talk about themes and commentary that I pulled from it. The commentary here is very obvious. It's about Hollywood and also the exploitation of stars, more specifically younger people in the industry. And it's really targeted towards the women or the girls. You have girls being exploited by men and then girls being pitted against each other. We have seen this pretty much our whole lives, and now that everything has been coming to the surface and being exposed, we know more than what we knew before. And I say this all the time, like, I used to, keywords, used to watch Shane Dawson videos, okay, and how he was exposing Hollywood with all his conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And that was like my first gateway into learning about how messed up Hollywood is. And reading this, I just had so much gratitude that my life didn't end up that way, because I don't know if I said this before, but on the channel, but there was a point in my life when I was younger, I wanted to be a movie star so bad. I wanted to be a Disney star. I wanted to be a Nickelodeon star. And knowing what I know now, I am so glad that that was not my journey. Because as we have learned in recent years, Hollywood is basically hell on earth. I won't go too deep into it because that's a very touchy subject and you have to be very careful about what you say about certain things. But even though these were fictional characters, we did see a lot of real world correspondences. We did see a lot of real world correspondence, you know, like I mentioned earlier with Brittany and Lindsay, you know, people like Amanda Bynes, Shirley Temple. That was a little bit on the younger side, but the same principles still apply. And then Atlas being like this Disney / Nickelodeon-esque company where it's like this big machine, it just made it even more real for me. Like, this story just was that more real to me. Don't get me started on the deep-rooted misogyny and sexism in this industry still to this day. And we saw that because Noah was getting away with stuff that the girls would never get away with. And also the commentary on the value of innocence in Hollywood, you know, appearing to be innocent, cashing in on, you know, someone's naive nature or their innocent appearance, and it's very creepy. It has very creepy and inappropriate roots, which I'm not going to get too much into, but there's so much to be looked at from a different perspective. Okay, now it's time for my favorite part of reading Rouge, and that is the Dreamcast. So I always say, if the book is good, I can see it playing out in my head like a movie. We've seen a lot of movies like this but I feel like this one would be a good one. It's not adding anything new to like the subgenre of these movies, but hey, it'd be cool. The last Read in Rouge, it wasn't my best work. And then this one, it's slightly better, but still I feel like I could have done better. I think my problem is I'm running out of actors and actresses that I know of. I'm like running out of options. This dream cast, like these people that I chose, this is what I felt would look right in my mind. And this is just my opinion. Don't be coming at me and stuff. Alright, so for present day Kat, 30-year-old Kat, I would say Sophia Carson. People have a lot of mixed emotions about Sophia Carson, but I think that she's a very talented actress. I've seen her in quite a bit of stuff, excluding the Descendants series. I've seen her in other stuff, and I think she's pretty damn good. So I'm gonna go with Sophia for present day Kat. For present day Summer, I would say Emma Roberts. I thought this would add a layer to it because Emma Roberts was primed as like this, you know, innocent princess when she was coming up. So I feel that would add a layer to it. So yeah, present day Summer, Emma Roberts. Present day Liana, this one was hard. This one was super hard. I'm like, there's so many choices for this, but I think Keke Palmer, my girl Keke Palmer, would murder this role. And I feel this would add a layer to it too, because Keke has been in the industry since she was a child, and I feel like she would know how it feels to be, you know, the one that's always overlooked and working twice as hard. I feel like she has some experience to that. And also, being that she worked on set with Emma Roberts during Scream Queen, she probably has a little bit of history with experiencing the other castmates getting favoritism, so that could add layer to it. I'm not trying to make no mess, but I'm just saying. Present day Noah, I would say Austin Butler. And people hate on Austin Butler, but he's a good actor. I think he's a good actor. And he's also a method actor, so I feel like him method acting this, I would love to see that, because what you gonna do? Now for the younger versions of them, all of these actors, actresses are young enough to play their younger selves, but I feel like if we did cast younger actors and actresses, it would make it feel, you know, a little bit more authentic, because shit, Keke and Emma look about the damn same. I'm not saying they can't play their younger selves, but I think I would like to see younger actresses and actors do that anyway. So for younger Kat, I think Mikey Madison would be a good choice. I tried to find someone that looks like Sophia Carson, that resembled her like in a way. Mikey is pretty new, well, in mainstream media. She's pretty new in mainstream media, but I think she's got the chops. I think she could do it. For younger Liana, I would say Marseille Martin. Now I believe she would light this role up. She would light it up. And then I really couldn't think of anybody for younger Summer and younger Noah, because I was like, who can I put in these roles that aren't in every other movie, like in recent years? I'm like, who could I put here? I couldn't think of nobody. If y'all think of somebody, let me know. But yeah, that's my dream cast for the Daydreams if it were to be a movie. Oh, before I end this video, I just want to give a very special thank you to you guys real quick. Come to the front, nerds, all of you. So I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning of the video. My last Read in Rouge video on Mrs. Everything by Jennifer Weiner, that was my first Read in Rouge that like blew up. And I just want to say thank you guys for your support and all your love. I started reading Rouge a few months after I made my channel about 2 years ago, and that was my baby because I wanted to make something that was my own and do my own version of things. People do makeup all the time, people do book reviews all the time, but I wanted to combine my two loves in a space where they can both be enjoyed simultaneously. Not that the views matter, but seeing something that I created get that much reach and have people engage with it, it's very, I don't know, it's cool to see. Like, I was very proud of myself because I said, hey, this is something that I created and a lot of people seem to enjoy it. I just want to thank you guys for showing that video the love that it got. Like I said, first Read in Rouge on the channel to blow up. And if you want to, I have more. I have a whole playlist, so if you want to go and watch the other ones, go to the Read in Rouge playlist on my channel and give those some love too. And like I said, I do this for fun, so being that video got that much of a reach, it just blew me away. So thank you guys. Oh, here's my look. I'm sorry. if it was the same day, I would have been still had the makeup on, okay? But here's my look. Isn't she pretty? I think so. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you made it to the end of this video, comment a pair of sunglasses and subscribe if you want to. I'll see y'all on the next go around. Okay, bye.